Hello everybody, hope you're doing okay and welcome to a place called Salem. I must say a very flooded Salem. I'll show you a bit of the waters in a minute, but I thought I'd come here today to a bit of a socially distanced shoe-off. I've got the RC Elites on from New Balance and also going to test out the Adios Pro. So I'm a bit of a head-to-head between the two to see which of the non-Nike ones I prefer the most. So I was going to run on this course, but I think I'm going to have to abandon that. So I've identified another one that's about 2.5 mile out and back. I think it goes past a nice polo field, so I'm going to get a good test. It looks to be fairly flat. I think it was one of the water splash I need to negotiate, but if you look that way, you can see it's rather flooded. And coming up behind me here, all this water. Okay, so I'll continue on my warm-up and let's get the first one done in the New Balance RC Elite. So I'm just using this little triangle in itself. I want them to turn around without doing a dead turn. Okay, so we're halfway in the RC Elite. About 1.4 miles out around that little triangle and back to Salem. Yeah, not too bad. About 7:10 pace so far. I think I'm putting some effort in, just not quite fit enough. Nice and soft, these ones. I tied up the shoelaces a bit since my last run, which I think is helping. But yeah, that's reported. Check it later. So rather nice Carriageway Park polo fields on the right here. I think they're good for strides in the summer, but we're rather wet today. Right, about a mile to go. Okay, the run done in the RC Elite. That was just about 2.75 miles, about 19.5 minutes, and I averaged 7:05 pace. So a bit of a tailwind coming back if there's any breeze, so it's slightly downhill I think at the end, so I think it picked up the pace a bit. So that felt quite nice. They sort of felt pretty good on feet. Nice and soft, those shoes. A bit firmer than though when I pulled in the laces a bit. So they felt like good at that pace. Now I've got the Adios Pros on. So I'm going to do the same circuit again, 2.75 miles, trying for the same speed, seeing what heart rate I can do. It's about 130 average heart rate there in that one. So we can see if we can get that simmer and see how these feel. And then I think if I have time, I'll do another run in both shoes, but a bit shorter, just for comparison. But it's quite a nice sunny day, but it's quite cold, so better get on with it. Right, see you in a bit. So first half mile done, the Adios Pros. I feel okay. I just feel instantly the extra weight in these. They're about 35 grams heavier, I think, in my size, just over 300 grams. So yeah, definitely feeling that a bit. So one water splash to negotiate. We've got the side here. And through the water without getting my feet wet. Impressive. Okay, run done in the Adios Pro. That was about 20 seconds faster, although I think I was probably putting in a bit more effort. So it certainly felt like the RC Elite felt nicer to run in. I think just a bit softer, maybe just fit me a bit better. But these, no disputing the fact the Adios Pro were maybe run pretty fast. They're just under a 7-minute mile pace for the 2.75 miles. So as the light's drawing in now, what I thought I'd do now is a couple of shortish strides up from where I parked my car in the junction back there up to the old railway bridge. Bit of historical interlude in my segment. So I'm going to do a stride out and a stride back, and I'll change over to the RC Elites afterwards because it's getting quite cold. My hands are getting hard to change the shoes, just to see how they feel at a bit of a faster pace. So it'll probably be about a minute and a half effort each way. And I've had a sort of a fallish recovery now, so just a bit tired in the legs. So let's see how we go with these for a comparison, and then we'll come indoors and look at the stats as usual later. So we've done the sprints in the Adios Pro and the first one in the RC Elite, just down around the old railway bridge by Salem, the entrance to Salem station. So I must say the RC Elite felt a lot easier to run faster in. I think just a bit lighter, a bit softer. The Adios Pro just feels really quite firm at those fast paces. Although those Elite guys are running sub 5-minute miles, aren't they, for a whole marathon? So there's me sort of running probably a 6-minute mile pace. So right, I'll just do this last one back and we'll call it a day, then we'll go inside and have a look at the data. Hello everybody, so I'm back indoors now. This is my customary spreadsheet. It's actually quite a few days later. I've had a few videos in between this one and this current one. So I won't dwell too much on this one, but just to remind you what we did. I did 2.75 miles on an out and back, largely flat course with a few water splashes. It was a bit wet that day. First of all, taking out the New Balance Fuelcell RC Elite, and then I swapped over to the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro. These names aren't getting any shorter, are they? So I tried to run these the same speed, but it actually turns out that the Adios Pro was actually quite a lot quicker. And I think one of the takeaways I found from this video is that the RC Elite sort of felt like it was always faster than it actually turned out to be. And I've noticed that before. I think the RC Elite is quite a soft shoe. Maybe gives the impression that you're running quite fast. And the Adios Pro is a lot firmer shoe. And perhaps the fact that I just seem to perhaps like the feel of the RC Elite more is actually clouding the issue in terms of the speed. So what was interesting here, I will split it into an out and back section. So on the RC Elite, I was 820 going out with a heart rate of 129, max 133, and coming back in 806. The Adios Pro, basically all the difference in the 21 seconds difference between the two was mostly in the way out. And obviously I think because I run that 1 second, then the heart rate was a bit higher. So maybe there's an element that I was running slightly harder in the Adios Pro. And then coming back the other way, these times are pretty similar. But it did seem to suggest that you might think that the Adios Pro has the marginal edge here at marathon speed. But it wasn't a greatly scientific test. This was only ran once in each one. And the RC Elite was obviously first. So although I did do a warm-up, it was a very cold day. So maybe an element of just getting used to the pace. But what was also interesting, I did these sort of 200-metre strides out and back from where I parked my car up to the railway bridge and back. So 0.13 is more or less basically 200-metre stride, isn't it? And I felt instantly the Adios Pro was like the firmer shoe and the slower shoe. But actually looking at the times, I was 3 seconds quicker out and back in the Adios Pro what it was in the RC Elite, which is very interesting. And it actually sort of felt like the RC Elite was quicker. So again, it just felt like the RC Elite was quicker, but it wasn't. So I think I'd have to say on a test here, I'd have to give the speed winner to the Adios Pro, even if it's not necessarily the shoe I feel most comfortable running in. I have subsequently yesterday run in the Adios Pro at my sort of marathon pace, 2 by 16 minutes at 6:45 pace, so a bit quicker than I did here. And it worked quite well for that. Again, I found them a bit slappy and a bit firm. I certainly don't like them as much as the Next Percent, and I think I've done a video already where I thought that the Adios Pro wasn't as quick as the Next Percent. But it could well be that the Adios Pro is the quickest of the non-Nike ones. I think I also need to now do a test with the Endorphin Pro as well. Maybe get these three, the Adios Pro, the RC Elite and the Endorphin Pro. I think clearly they are the three which are the contenders for the Nike crown, as it were. So I hope you found this interesting and look forward to seeing the next one then. Okay, bye. So it wouldn't really be a Timbrose video without a bit of a historical interlude of old railways. So I'm standing behind the entrance to Selham Station, which has now been converted into a house. And if I turn around, we've got the Three Moles pub right behind us. And if you could turn around again, and we can see where the old railway went. Of course, this disused bridge here. Obviously, the bridge has been missing, but you see how the railway used to go across the top there.